We are calling to order public meeting number 151 on July 29th.
No,
This
it's not 159.
Sorry, 159, excuse me. On July 29th, this time at the Mass Gaming Commission at a little after 3 o'clock. Before we start, we do have one member of the commission who is attending remotely. She needs to do that by at least one of 5 reasons, and that in her case is the geographic location. She's not nearby, so Commissioner Cameron is calling in. We do need to double check that you can hear all of us. Rick, do you want to say something so we make sure that Gail can?
I can certainly say something. How does that work? Gail?
I can hear you, Rick. Thank you very much.
All right, and you can hear the other commissioners. Bruce?
Hi, Beth.
Hi, Gail.
Hi, Bruce. I
Hi.
can hear you loud and clear.
Hi again. Enrique.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Hi, Gail. It's Jim.
Hi, Jim. I'm in my old mode, loud and clear.
All right.
And
10-4 now, right?
and there is a rule that when we have remote members participating, that we do need to have roll call votes, which we will do.
Okay.
The only other thing is that we are recording this. We will post it on the website. It's not being streamed live as we usually do. We also are having a transcript prepared as we do for all of our meetings. So this eventually, shortly, will be up on the website, archived as all of our things usually are. I think that's it by way of preparation. The topic on the conversation on the table is consideration of Executive Director Day's separation agreement. You have all seen the materials. This is something that Executive Director Day and I have talked about at some length and come to what we agree is an appropriate package. Just the highlights, I think, and if anybody wants to raise other issues, just from my standpoint, sort of the key points are that he will be having a combination of work and vacation, previously scheduled vacation, between now and September 11th. As of September 14th, September 11th will be his last day of employment. We have agreed to a 6-month consulting agreement starting the following week. For that consulting agreement, we will be paying $15,000 a month. He is obligated to respond to us at any time with any tasks that we need on a timely basis, and to make that a priority. We will work out, and we've already begun to do this, a list of work that needs to get done. 2 things that we've already talked about that will extend well into the fall will be staying in charge or deeply involved in the internal control process and the overseeing of the matching of the licensees' internal control regs and proposals to their proposals to our regs, and keeping the variance reports current and creating the final variance report in October. He also is going to continue the role of concluding the performance evaluations, doing all the performance evaluations for all of his direct reports. And that will be completed in a timely fashion. And there will be a bunch of other things. We've begun to have a number of conversations about this. The Commission also asked for and received the agreement that in the event that Executive Director Day gets other work prior to the end of the 6 months, that we have the right to terminate this agreement, and probably will. I think those are sort of the key points. Any other thoughts, questions?
Maybe just for the record, you mentioned September 14th, but I thought it was September 11th. Is that?
11 is his last day of employment. Then there's the weekend, and then starting the 14th is the beginning date of his next business day.
Business day.
My only comment is that I'm delighted that we have this consulting agreement. There's a lot that you do and have done, Rick, that we really can benefit from your continuing to help us with as we move into this next phase. This is an ideal sort of valley between milestones and between periods of intense activity. And this is a great time to think about some of the things and reflect on them, and you've been in a position to see them and help us think through the processes that we need to take things to the next step. So I'm delighted that we have this consulting agreement and take advantage of your skills and your insights as we move forward.
Yeah, I would concur with those thoughts that certainly, Rick's gaming expertise has been invaluable to us, and probably a week doesn't go by where something comes up and we're trying to think through, what's the best practice when it comes to this issue. And I know that, Rick's insight will really, really help us moving forward in the next 6 months with a number of those issues. So I would concur with those thoughts.
Including the after-action process, which was really set up
Sure.
as a critical item for all of us. Anything else?
Yeah, I think it's good. It's also very flexible as I read it, that will allow us on Director Day to respond to whatever priority might surface that we have not anticipated. And we have a mechanism in place to make it happen. If he was a point person, Mr. Chairman, periodic reports or updates that we may get in the interim. So I think it's a good framework.
Okay. Anything else for today? Anything you want to say?
Only that I appreciate the opportunity and be happy to continue to support the commission where I can.
Thanks. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, we also appreciate your great work, Rick, and I move that this commission approve the separation agreement presented here in the packet.
Second.
So,
Any further discussion? We will have a roll call.
No, I do have a further discussion. I just want to pick up on Commissioner Zuniga's statement. I think the myriad details that were necessary to get Plain Wage open on time and without a lot of stuff were accomplished because of your oversight and your thoughtful guidance, leadership, and planning. And I, as always, I think, am very grateful for your contributions to getting that major milestone accomplished in such smooth fashion. Really was a major milestone, as we said at the time, for the Commonwealth, and brings us into a new era. And I'm grateful for the role, oversight role, planning role that you had in making that.
Thank you, Commissioner McHugh, and I have a great staff who's behind me doing that too as well. So I appreciate it.
Team effort.
And I just want to remind the commission, you have two agreements in front of you. One is the separation and one is the consulting contracts. You want to make sure that you approve both in your motion.
well, on that note, I will amend my motion, which included only the separation agreement, to also include the consulting agreement, which is also referenced here in the packet as an exhibit to the agreement.
Okay, second that.
Second.
Any further discussion? We will go by voice vote. All in favor, Commissioner Stebbins,
Aye.
Commissioner Cameron,
Aye.
Commissioner Zuniga,
Aye.
Commissioner McHugh,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. So the motion to approve the separation agreement along with its addendum, the consulting agreement, is approved unanimously. I just wanted to mention, and I think this is just this is my recommendation. I think that I don't think we're talking anything formal here, but that starting next week, my suggestion and recommendation is that Executive Director Karen Wells, IPB Director Karen Wells, become the interim director. It's already been decided that in Rick's absence, she would take his place. He'll still be here until September 11th, so there's nothing that formal needs to happen. It will just be an absence. If we need to do something more formal, we can do it later. But as a practical matter, the intention would be to make Karen the interim executive director for as long as it takes to get this done. We all know that she already has a very demanding job. She couldn't possibly pick up everything that Executive Director Day has been doing and do both. So we will need to work with her, parcel out some of those things. And the devil will be in the details of how this works, but we do need a designated ED, and that would be Karen. We've already talked about parceling out some of her work. Commissioner Cameron has said some of Rick's work, Commissioner Cameron has said that she'd be willing to pick up racing. I've talked about picking up the OPM meetings, at least for a while, and there will be more such work. We've got a lot of conversation. We've got ideas, actually, for a bunch of things the commissioners might do. Rick actually had some interesting ideas about projects that some of us could take on. I also would like to be more involved than I have been in the past when there was a permanent ED. I've been pretty much in the background as the chair, which is appropriate. I do have a statutory role to be responsible for all the affairs and operations of the commission, and particularly in a transition period like this, I do want to be a little bit more involved. I've talked about that with Karen. I think we're totally comfortable. We'll work out how I'll join her at some of the meetings, and so she will be, however, the ED, not me. There are a couple of minor points that I hadn't actually thought about until today. Next week, she will be on vacation. There might be a need for a signatory on some document or other. There may be a need to, and this will carry on, for variances to be granted to the licensee for various of our regs. Do we need to designate in any formal way somebody to play that role in the absence of both Rick and Karen next week?
I think it would be helpful to do that. I don't anticipate having a lot of that come up, but I think just so that staff is clear and we can let them know for that week, we should probably do that.
Right. So I'm game for, there's a possibility, I still don't know yet, I might be away for Wednesday afternoon and Thursday, so I would be a natural, but maybe if I'm going to be away too, maybe I'm not the best choice. It could be Commissioner McHugh, could be Catherine. Well,
She's on vacation this week.
Well, yeah.
Except for that.
You'll be back next week, though. Yeah, does it make any difference?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
Yeah.
it can be a commissioner,
Yeah.
sure, so, and that may be inappropriate if you're here all week.
I'll be here, but not Friday, but next week.
I actually think it might be appropriate to we have such talented staff to utilize another member of the leadership team. I would recommend General Counsel Blue. Some of those decisions may be, certainly she is part of all the decisions. Anyway, everybody runs everything by her, so I would think that could be appropriate next week.
Totally fine with me.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
And you'll still be
You'll be around.
executive director, so you can
Yeah.
probably delegate those roles to her.
I'd still be available to do something electronic.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
right.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was another issue that Rick raised that's interesting just for downstream.
Before we leave that, if there's going to be a delegation, if Rick does it, it seems to me Rick does it. And if there's going to be a delegation of somebody else, though, it seems to me for historians, it ought to be done in writing.
So Rick ought to send an email that
Yeah.
in his
Yeah.
absence,
Right.
if necessary, in his absence next week, that
Yeah, do that.
general counsel
And that will be.
have that
Right.
on paper. So
Right.
just make sure you include whatever functions you may need to have delegated in that email. Okay, great, thank you. This is just to think about. One of the roles that the ED plays when delegated to the ED is to approve variance requests. The variance requests come from, in effect, the IEB typically, or variance recommendations. If Karen were to, as interim ED, were to approve those, you have the IEB approving the IEB's recommendations. So this is not relevant until next week at the earliest, but at the very earliest, which will still be electronically accessible. But it's something we need to think about going forward. That's it for me. Anything else? Anybody else? Other topics?
The risk, I just thinking about historians again. Because Rick is going to be in the position of executive director, albeit on vacation until September 11th,
And working.
and work, a combination. The default of all the ED responsibilities remains with Rick during that period, right? All of you. And if Rick feels it necessary to, for some reason, absence or unavailability or something during some part of that, to delegate to somebody else any or all of those responsibilities, that would be done by email. Is that-
I think, yes, I think you're making, let me just be a little bit more clear about this. Rick's the executive director until September 11th. He is delegating certain functions to Catherine for the next week. He will delegate those functions probably, or some of them at least, to Karen thereafter until the 11th as necessary. There'll be a paper trail that puts that delegation in place. Starting the 14th, there will be an interim executive director. Okay. Thank you. I mean, that's important. I will send something out to the staff too, and it's important to kind of keep those lines. Thank you for that. Okay, anything else? Anybody? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? Commissioner Stebbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Zuniga? Commissioner Cameron?
Aye.
Commissioner McHugh?
Right.
And the chair votes aye. The motion to adjourn is passed unanimously. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all.